What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're joined by Shiraz Waheed, the founder of the SetupHero, chartered accountant, worked in the UK, ex-Deloitte, and me and Shiraz have worked on many projects together. And today we're joined by him, and we're going to talk everything Dubai tax. He's the go-to guy that I go to whenever I've got any tax queries, anything regarding golden visas, getting set up out here. He is my man to go to. Now, Shiraz, first question. Very interesting question, actually. What do you think the primary reasons are people are moving over to Dubai, and not just themselves, but they're bringing their businesses as well?
Well, Joe, first of all, thank you for having me on the show today. And to get right into your first question, there are multiple reasons why I see clients coming into Dubai. One of them, obviously, on the top is the tax benefits. In Dubai, we don't have any personal taxes and a 9% corporate tax. So that's the first reason that I see clients come into Dubai. The second is obviously Dubai's investment market is quite lucrative, especially when you are from a property market. So we see clients who have made a good amount of money back home in the UK, Canada, Australia, and then they want to invest that money either in some diversified portfolio investments or in the property. And that's where they decide to bring in that money into Dubai, invest into properties, get access to the 10-year golden visa, and then enjoy the tax-free income that the property generates. That's the first thing. If they do get a tax residency of UAE and set it up properly, they don't actually have to pay taxes anywhere else in the world. So let's say for the UK, investors coming from the UK, if they are outside from UK for 6 months, what they can do is effectively go to the HMRC and declare themselves a non-tax resident in the UK. What it does is it effectively makes them a UAE tax resident exclusively, and that results in them paying a 0% personal tax on whatever their personal income, salaries, director salaries from their companies, investment dividends from their portfolios, rental income, it all becomes tax-free. So yeah, it's really just optimizing your income side and tax side. And then, of course, it's one of the safest cities in the world. So people with families, they try to migrate for a better quality of life, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I work with many expatriates who come over to Dubai, and everybody's got a similar story, relocating for tax reasons. Interestingly, I don't know if you saw that the Labour have just got into power in the UK, and
Yeah.
there may be a few changes in tax regulations for UK citizens paying worldwide tax, kind of like the US citizens have to have that worldwide tax. Whether or not that'll come in, I'm not sure, but that'll be interesting to see. But a lot of people, when they come to Dubai, it's not tax-free. There is corporation tax. So can you explain what corporation tax is, first of all, and the sort of minimum requirements, so people understand it a little bit who are looking to set up businesses in Dubai?
Sure. So the corporate tax that has been introduced in 2024. So the first year of corporate tax is 2024, and the first filings will start in 2025, kind of for most of the people. And the tax rate is at 9% on the profits of the company. So let's say back in the UK or Canada, Australia, it's around between 20 to 25%, or it can go as high as 30%. At the moment in Dubai, it's a flat rate of 9% corporate tax on the profits. Now, is it applicable to everyone? It depends on your situation. So we have a few exemptions. The first exemption is if the company is making $100,000 of profit, up to $100,000 profit is tax free. Now, obviously, the investors that we deal with, they make much more money and much more profits than $100,000. It's a small profits when you look at the majority of investors coming into Dubai, so it's not applicable to everyone. After that, we have a small business relief. The small business relief is active until the 2026. That says that if you have revenues of up to 800,000 US dollars, you can apply for the small business tax relief, and that effectively makes your corporate tax rate 0%. What will happen after 2026? The tax authorities will review this relief. Maybe they will abandon it. Maybe they will increase or decrease the limit. We don't know, but that's where we are at the moment. For anyone making above $800,000, $1 million, $2 or $3 million in revenue from the company, you have to deduct all your expenses. Whatever profit is left, you go on and you pay 9% corporate tax on that profits. Now, if you are predominantly an investor, let's say you are doing mostly property investments, shares, stocks, or crypto investors, right? Or anything that is, if you are mainly driving your income from employment, that is all still tax free. So income from a job, income from investments, rental income from the properties, those things are still tax free. If you are making an investment in the property and you are selling that property, let's say in 5 years, and you get a capital gains income, there is no capital gains tax. So it's basically for companies who are actively trading, actively generating profits, and largely if they have more than $1 million in revenue, that's where it comes here.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So let's talk about digital-based businesses. A lot of e-commerce guys, they come to Dubai, but now they're still subject to tax. It was always a tax-free haven. So there are places with 0% tax, still that exist where they could easily go and set up. So why would somebody choose who's, let's say, in the digital space, why would they choose to set up in Dubai when they could choose somewhere else which is 0%?
Okay, so before 2024, the personal tax residency was 0%, the corporate tax was 0%. So it was a very straightforward choice. Just go to Dubai, set up everything, stay tax free. Now, coming into 2024, we have seen a lot of these cases especially from e-commerce and digital businesses who are considering like, okay, why not other jurisdictions? And what we have done in this case is we have installed a multi-jurisdiction approach. For example, for clients in e-commerce, we have set up Hong Kong entities that are, if you are generating income from outside of Hong Kong and you don't have a personal residency in Hong Kong, there are some other obligations. But if you fulfill that, you can effectively run a 0% corporate tax company from Hong Kong, let's say selling e-commerce into Australia, e-commerce into Europe or UK. That's a possibility. There are also possibilities to set up a US LLC that is at a 0% tax rate, depending on how you structure that. However, most of these, and like, let's say these two jurisdictions, we are assuming that you are not a tax resident of these countries. So whichever country you are a tax resident of, that country is going to put a tax on the company. So if you are a UK resident and you set up a Hong Kong company that is effectively a 0% tax company, the HMRC would want you to declare how much profits have you made in that Hong Kong company and pay taxes to the HMRC. It is a law that is called Controlled Foreign Corporation or CFC law. Now, how do you optimize that? That is when the UAE comes into play, where you come to Dubai, you have your basic structure here, you have your UAE residency, you have become a UAE tax resident. So you are doing a multi-jurisdiction approach where your personal tax residency is based in UAE for all purposes. That's 0% tax. And as I said, like if you have revenues of below $800,000, you can still have the UAE company as 0% tax based on small business relief. But if you're someone playing at $2, $3, $5 million, you have other options. And we have clients in SaaS businesses, in e-commerce. There are other jurisdictions. We have a client in a Malaysian free zone that is at 3% corporate tax, while we keep the personal tax residency in Dubai. So it really becomes like, if you're someone who's making $1 million or more, you can afford more lawyer fees. You can afford a multi-jurisdiction approach that is best suited for your case.
Okay. I like it. So let's talk about the most common, since we're both, working in the real estate space as well. Let's talk about the visas. Okay. So golden visas, investor 2-year visas. So let's start from the start. The first question, let's say somebody's bought off plan. Okay. Let's talk about if they buy off plan, because that's the most common purchase right now. A lot of people are purchasing off plan. There's big advertisements to get the golden visa, but there's also some requirements which people don't think that, developers kind of push it. They don't really tell you that there are certain things like 50% completion of the project has to be undertaken before you can actually get it. A lot of people just push it, but let's dive into that a little bit. So, and tell me, are there any like loopholes for people to get their residency regardless? So first of all, let's start with the investor visa, and then let's go into the golden visa, and let's talk about off plan specifically.
I understand your concern. So investor visa, basically there are mainly two ways of getting an investor visa. There can be more. On top of my mind, I can think of two ways. One is that you set up a free zone company and you are the shareholder of that company. And being the shareholder of that company, you're eligible to apply for an investor visa. You become a general manager and an investor of that company itself. That visa is for 2 years. That's the first round. The route that we are trying to discuss now, that's mostly relevant to your audience as well, that is the investor visa through property acquisition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are a few rules. The first is that if you have a property that is valued at around 750,000 dirhams, you're eligible for a 2 years investor visa. If your property is valued at 2 million dirhams, you're eligible for a 10-year investor visa, and that becomes a golden visa as well. The classification is investor visa, the timeline is 10 years. Now, these things, the requirements are quite changing as we go, as the time pass by. Every time we also, when we are applying for a new client for a new visa, we have to go through the immigration department and then verify, showing them the property documents, showing them the payment milestones, showing them the completion milestones, and then they give us an update that, okay, based on this case, based on the completions, based on the payments, this is the type of visa that we can give you, or you have to wait until this point. So yeah, I think from a developer's point of view, I agree that it's not the complete information. That what we see in the marketing is that you invest your money into an off-plan property and then you get a golden visa, but there are certain milestones that you have to hit before you get that golden visa, right? So what we have seen in our case is that the property completion should be at least 40% or going up to 50%. Like if someone has a 40% completion with the project, we still go in to the immigration department, we show them the property, show them the project, the developer, and the payment milestones, and then they decide. Sometimes they give us the approval, sometimes they say you have to wait for the 50% completion, right? The other option is, and that's for like 2 million dirham property, that project should be 50% completion so that you get a 10-year golden visa. Let's say the project is not 40 or 50% complete. What we do is then we aim for a 2-year investor visa. The 2-year investor visa is at least the paid up value should be around 700,000 dirhams. And then we go to the same immigration department, we show them this is how much it is completed, this is how much the investor has paid, are we able to get the visa or not? It becomes really case to case. They look at the project, they look at the developer, they look at the completion, they look at the payments, and then they give a decision. So there's no like a fixed rule to it, but also you have to be mindful that 40% completion, 40% payment is a good ballpark for you to imagine you having a 10-year golden visa. Anything before that, you apply for a 2-year investor visa on the same property. If you are granted that 2-year visa, the construction rate of off plan is very fast in Dubai. So potentially by the end of your 2 years of that visa, you are done with the 40% or 50% construction of the project. 40 to 50% of the payment plans are completed. You are eligible for the 10-year golden visa. As soon as the 2-year visa is expired, we move you to the 10-year golden visa. So that's the strategy that we make for the investors that we work with.
Okay, great. Can you tell me what your process would look like if a client came to you from Canada, UK? What does your process look like in assisting that person? So, because I know there's a bit of a process. So tell me what that looks like.
So it depends on, there are two types of clients. One is if they've already invested in a property and there are some payments that have been made, and then now they want to apply for the golden visa. The other one is that they're thinking of buying a property and they want to make an investment, and using that investment, they are going to apply for the golden visa. Now, coming for the first category, like the investor, they came to Dubai like 2 years back, they have made some investments and then they have made some payments as well into their property, and now they think they're eligible for applying for the golden visa, but they don't know if they are really eligible. If they are, where to apply, how to apply, what would the process be? So in that case, if we take them on board as clients, our process starts with looking at the project documents, the property ownership documents, and the payment plans. First, we look at that and we determine if the property value is eligible for a 10-year golden visa or a 2-year investor visa. Let's say you invested in a property that was 1.5 million in valuation 2 years back. There are chances that that property is now 2 million in valuation with the increase in the market value. At that point, what we do is we go to the land department and we apply for a revaluation of the property value. If you are able to get the market value of 2 million dirhams, you are instantly eligible for the 10-year golden visa. And if let's
I didn't know that.
Okay.
That's
We
good.
have done a few cases like that, yeah, successfully.
Ah,
Yeah.
no, that's very interesting.
But
So yeah,
that's
I mean,
applicable like if the property was purchased like let's say 2 years back, 3 years back, you can see
yeah,
some market value building into it. Yeah.
yeah, because I guess a lot of what my clients face, for example, I've got clients from Canada, Germany, certain parts of the world, basically, and a lot of the time, whenever it comes to do with their home country's tax, it's not something that I advise on. Because I can't, if I don't know the tax laws in every country, I hardly know them in the UK. Never mind Canada, Germany, all these other places. So I believe you work with locals in these different places. Is that right? Because I think you told me about this once. I'd like to know,
Yeah.
like local
So
tax consultants.
okay. Thank you, Joe. I got your question, but let me to finish off the last part of the last question. I think it was cut in between. So basically, like
Mm.
when we are having the reevaluation of the property, if it comes to 2 million, we go and apply for the 10-year golden visa, and if it comes to less than 2 million, we go and apply for the 2-year golden visa. And the process is that we go and we bring the client to Dubai. Once the client enters Dubai, we apply for the residence visa, and once that visa is issued, the entry permit, we go and we do the medical, the biometric, and then we apply for the permanent visa. And once that visa is issued, it takes us one more week to get the Emirates ID ready. And then once that is issued, we hand it over to the client, and that's kind of the completion of the project. So just so to complete the last question that you asked about the process of how we work with clients who are interested in applying to the golden visa. Now coming to your next question about how do we deal with tax authorities in all of these individual countries, because taxation in Germany is different from taxation in the UK, is different from taxation in Australia, right? So what we do is we work with expat tax lawyers in most of these countries very closely. Now, obviously, our connection is not in every country, let's say in Europe, but most of the big economies, we try to find tax lawyers who understand expats and like people who are leaving, let's say UK, because if you go to a local tax accountant who just understands the local tax accountancy side of HMRC, he might not be able to be equipped to give you the best advice on how to do international tax restructuring. So that's where we come in. We help refer our clients to our international tax experts in that particular country, and then we work together on creating an international tax strategy where SetupHero take care of everything from Dubai side, and then that tax lawyer that's in the UK will take care of everything to help the client exit from the UK side.
Great stuff. So you basically can offer the full 360 package. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's kind of our specialty here. That we don't just sell a visa, or we don't just sell a company. We start with looking at what's your home country situation for your business, taxation, banking, and family, and then we work towards a plan that helps you relocate your business to Dubai, set up a company, have your banking here, have your taxation here, help you with deregistering from the tax authority of your home country. It can be the HMRC in the UK, CRA in Canada, or the HU in Australia, working with the local tax accountants. And once you are deregistered from there, we help you operate your company in Dubai in terms of the ongoing tax obligations, the acquiring residencies for your family, for yourself, helping you with the property investment side, the golden visa side. So as you said, it's really like a 360 that we work with. Yeah.
Oh, great. Listen, I've got a couple more questions. It kind of relates to a deal I did the other day about the regulatory and tax implications for crypto investors. So I actually sold a property to a client of mine, and we paid crypto. Okay, we used a middleman and paid the middleman crypto and paid the developer like that. What's your thoughts on that whole process? And is it going to be able? Are we going to be able to continue to see that?
Yeah. So when dealing with properties and purchasing the properties in crypto, you have to be careful that you always have a licensed escrow company in between you and the buyer or you and the seller. Because the chances of getting into troubles, either from a financial risk point or the regulatory point of view, is when you are not dealing with a middleman, like the one who is licensed to do these transactions, and you do one-on-one wallet to wallet transactions. Because everything related to property is regulated by the Dubai Land Department. So if you, as you did by yourself, this last transaction that you were saying that you hired the middleman, that's the escrow companies that are licensed to do these transactions. What the escrow companies do is they will receive your crypto and they will first verify the legitimacy of that cryptocurrency, whatever they're coming in. They will ask for the source of funds, and once they're satisfied with the source of funds, they will issue something that is called a manager's check. That would be in local currency, that would be through a local bank for purchasing that specific property that you are buying into. That's the process that is following at the moment. It's always risky if you go directly and do a direct crypto transfer, because there is no regulatory involvement. No land department was informed of this transaction, right? That's one thing. Now, it's working for now. How will it work in the future? The thing is that we have a good structure in place for doing these transactions. These are not black market transactions. The escrow companies are licensed and approved by the UAE authorities and by the Dubai Land Department. All the transactions that go through, the Land Department is informed of it. The property purchase documents will reflect those purchases. The only thing that I see probably more problematic is the source of funds. So maybe there are more restrictions or more stringent requirements for you to prove your source of funds, that just so that, okay, this was your business or your salaried income, you converted in crypto in 2017. From there, it had a valuation increase. That is when you sold. This is how it is at the moment. So, just to have the chain of events of where do you start your crypto and where it is now, if you can prove that chain of events using, let's say, a crypto accounting software that tracks your past 4-5 years of crypto, and they can show the capital appreciation, and you can prove that. As far as the property industry is concerned, the government is facilitating that to be as easy as possible for property investors to come into crypto. But as I said, a source of funds might get stricter and stricter, and then it's on to you to prove that.
And do you think, let's assume that, somebody, legitimate clients like my clients, bought crypto just at really great prices, and it's say 10 times, 100 times. Now that's the money originally came from, let's say, a salary, like you said. That's where the tracking of the crypto comes from, right? Now, a lot of people would get worried that, okay, yeah, I've 100 times my money. Okay, that's great. Now I'm sitting with $1 million in my account, and the money originally came from my salary. Cool. Dubai have seen it and said, yeah, okay, that all checks out. I think a lot of people would get worried that, would Dubai go and tell their country? Because then at that point, they'll be potentially, they would be liable to be taxed on that, right? So a lot of people ask me the question is like, what's the international treaty law with with Dubai and the communication between other countries? Maybe that's something we don't need to discuss, but I mean, I just wanted to a quick answer from you for that. For that, like, what do you think? What your thoughts are?
So there is no automatic reporting from Dubai to US or from Dubai to UK. There's no automatic reporting, but Dubai is a very cooperative, environment. So if they ask, they can ask, and the government can give it back, like the information. However, as per the local tax laws of whatever countries the clients are coming from, they're liable to pay taxes on whatever gains that they have received in crypto, just based on the local taxation. If they're not doing that, that's just tax avoidance. It can get them into like criminal penalties, right? So Dubai or not Dubai, it's a good tax hygiene that if there has been gains while you are a tax resident of that country, you have to follow the law. You have to pay whatever the taxes are. Once you are clean from there, once you have bring your capital into Dubai with the legitimate sources, paying all your taxes, after that, whatever income that you make, either it's in crypto gains or property investments, that's all tax free. And then if you are a tax resident of Dubai, you don't have to go back to your home country and pay taxes there.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's put a pin in it for there now. Let's follow. Let's finish with some closing questions. How can any interested individuals get in touch with you, first of all?
So I have my YouTube channel, that is youtube.com/SetupHero. I put a lot of educational content when it comes to property, business, banking, taxation in Dubai. That's the first source of information that they can look at. And once they have consumed a good amount of content, they can book a one-on-one call directly with me at setuphero.com/call. And then, it's a call with me. We go over the individual situation, and then we create what I call a map your exit plan, where we look at your banking, your business, your crypto investments, your property investments, and we put down a plan for the next 12 to 24 months to best optimize your personal situation when it comes to relocating your funds, your personal life, and your business to Dubai.
Okay. Well, have you got anything else you want to add before we leave, or are you
All
happy
good.
with
Thank
everything that
you.
you've said today?
All good, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today as well. Yeah, all good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Shiraz. Well, listen, it was very informative, and I'm sure everyone who's watching is going to appreciate it. So thank you very much for coming on, and we'll catch up soon.
Sure. Thank you.